Great questions. I would now like to recognize Congressman Burlison.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I, for one, am not afraid of the advent of AI. In fact, I want to welcome our future overlords. But I will say, I do see a lot of promise. You know, working in healthcare technology, we see an amazing opportunity to be able to comb the data records of patients, be able to use, be able to take that data and be able to accurately diagnose better than probably any medical professional possibly ever could, to a greater degree of accuracy what you might be facing. To me, there's tremendous opportunity, but I also do recognize some of the threats, obviously. To that end, my question for you, Dr. Schmidt, first is that, given the state, the size and scope of the equipment that's necessary today, we're limited to what actors do have the ability to use AI, right? So at least we know who has access to it, who's utilizing it. It's not like we have people in a Nigerian criminal syndicate using AI at this point. Is that correct?
I can assure you it's coming because of diffusion. Basically, the models are trained very expensively, but when they're used for inference, which is where they answer questions, it's quite simple. So I would expect us to see terrorists, other bad actors begin to use this technology in ways that we should anticipate.
But at this point, they would have to access it on another platform. Someone would have to spend the resources to develop the tech, to house the data, et cetera.
And Professor Madri can help me here because we work together. The simplest way to understand it is the training part is really expensive, but that you can take the trained information and put it on a laptop, and then it can be used. So unfortunately, in this scenario, all you need is a computer or a phone to do your evil acts.
Okay. Dr. Crowder, my question to you relates to the quantum computers. These are machines that you just couldn't walk around, handheld devices, right? Can you walk us through what it takes what the environment requirements are, what it takes to have a quantum computer?
Yeah, I mean, we deploy them right now in regular data centers, but they're not laptops, they're not mobile phones. They're large, complex systems, and they're very, very hard to calibrate and manage, and that's a major trade secret of how to keep them up and running. That's probably going to be true for quite a while. So right now, we don't actually sell systems, we sell cloud access, because there's a small number of people who know how to actually keep them up running, operating, et cetera, et cetera. So obviously that has some benefits from a IP protection, security point of view as well.
And so this is being used at what scale? How many businesses
Yeah, so we have over 200 partners, and we carefully select what regions of the world we do business in, and carefully select who we partner with. But we've got over 200 industry and academic and research partners who are leveraging. We've got about 26 computers right now that are accessible via the cloud.
To that end, I know that from other testimony from other hearings, we've been hearing that the Chinese government often has a pattern of sending students to American universities who then are able to glean data in working in cooperation on some of these projects. Are you aware of that activity?
Not personally aware of that activity. We obviously are very, for business reasons, for our, whatever you want to call them, crown jewels or most protected IP, we're very careful not to, we're very careful who is part of that work.
And then again, my last question to you is, in the subject of quantum entanglement, has that had any real-world applications or potential real-world applications?
Right now, nobody, from our perspective, have proved that there's practical use, which means it's better than simulating it or just using classical computers. But we think that's going to change in the next very soon amount of time. The computers are getting rapidly advancing, and we think by the middle of this decade, there will be practical use. We're working with a lot of US companies on applications today, Like I mentioned a couple of them before, like Boeing on looking at better airplane wing optimization materials, fraud detection for banks, looking at medical health records and trying to predict more efficient treatment for patients with healthcare life sciences companies. We have a big partnership with Cleveland Clinic, looking more broadly across life sciences. But it's not practical today to be better than what we have classical, but we think that's going to come in the next couple of years.
Thank you.
Thank you. I would now like to recognize Congressman Gomez for 5 minutes.